With today's video, I want to look at what I'm calling how to breathe. And it seems like kind of an interesting or kind of strange how-to because we all breathe all the time. It's not something that we have to think about doing. Breathing is an involuntary movement in the body. However, we're not always paying attention to how we breathe. In fact, most of the time, we're probably not attending to our breath at all. And because of this, it's become a little bit of an epidemic that we have a nation, a world full of shallow breathers. And why is this bad? Well, it's not bad. We're all functioning, and that's great. But are we functioning at our full capacity? The more shallow our breath is, the less energy we're spreading throughout the body, the less feeling of relaxation we're going to have. The feeling of the relationship between the body and the mind is extraordinary. We can't dismiss that. And often what we'll find when we notice suddenly that we're feeling angry or frustrated or tense in any way, if we start to focus on our breath and how our breath is moving throughout the body, you might notice that your breathing is very rapid, shallow. Your heart might be beating a little bit faster than normal. And that's because it's kind of a chicken or an egg situation, but the feelings that we have are going to affect our body's movements. Our body's movements, including the breath, are in turn going to affect the emotions that we have. So you can start to see here that by focusing on the breath, especially on relaxing the breath and lengthening the breath, we can actually work to relax the body and the mind and our feelings. Now, we all know of the idea of go take a breather or go count to 10 if you're feeling, if your parents might tell you, leave the room and count to 10, take a moment. Now, these breaths of counting to 10, taking a breather, this is all about coming back to ourselves and using the breath as an anchor to create stability and balance in the body. So in yoga, there's a whole field called pranayama, which is breath work. And there are almost infinite things we can do by way of controlling the breath to create certain desired effects in the body and our minds and emotions. But I want to keep it really simple today and just talk about how we can lengthen and expand the breath by learning how our breath is moving throughout the body and which physical markers we can look for in the body to show that we're really lengthening our breath and creating expansion in the body. So this we can call the yogic breath, and it's something that you can do anytime, anywhere. You don't need any tools whatsoever except for yourself to work on this. And that's what's so great about it. You can use yourself as a tool to improve yourself with no outside aid. It's all coming from you, which is just amazing. So to do the yogic breath, you don't have to be sitting in this position. You can find any position that's comfortable for you. You can sit cross-legged. If you can sit on the floor, that is. You can put one foot in front of the other. Of course, if you're already practicing yogi and you'd like, you can sit in lotus or in half lotus. None of this is necessary. I'm just giving you your options. You can just as easily sit in a chair. The important thing here is to keep your back upright. So if you want to sit on the floor, but it's not quite comfortable for your knees or for your hips, or for your ability to keep a straight back, you can always raise your bum. You can always put a pillow or a cushion underneath you, which will raise the hips and allow your back to have the stability to sit straight. We want to have a straight spine. We have this expression that a straight spine is a healthy spine is a healthy life. And having a straight spine, you'll feel as soon as you try to take a simple deep breath, you can feel your spine lifting, and this creates this feeling of power and juicy, delicious balance in the body. So once you're sitting down, just find any comfortable position with a straight back, as I said. Also trying to keep your chin a little bit down, which creates length in the back of your neck. We're going to look at what this yogic breath looks like. So we know, we have this idea that an inhale is up, exhale is down. But actually, the feeling that we want to try to visualize in our body as we're breathing is a little bit counterintuitive. But what we're doing is we're taking in the breath and we're feeling it go down into the lower belly. This creates the longest stretch of movement of the breath in the body. And as you exhale, you're imagining the breath coming out as the breath expels all the way out and creating a little bit of a vacuum in the lower belly, if you will. So let's start. We're going to now build our yogic breath, which is going to be a great tool for you. By placing the hands on your belly, right hand first on the lower belly, right under the belly button, you want your thumb, and your left hand on top. And as you breathe, just take a moment, and you'll feel your lower belly on the inhale extend to meet your hand, and on the exhale, withdrawing to move towards your lower back, the tail of your spine. So in and out. Now, when we're not breathing at our full capacity, the tendency is to keep your breath right up here in your chest. So the more we can cultivate an awareness of the breath in the belly, this is again this is our sacred area, the seat of our body. We want to have a deep, deep breath in the belly. You've heard of the expression having a belly laugh. That's laughing from deep in the recesses of your body where it really counts, where you're really feeling it. And actually, just to show you a little bit, if you're having trouble feeling the breath in your belly, the easiest way to do it is actually to try to lie slowly on the flat of your back, and again place your hands on your belly. From this position, as soon as you breathe in, you should feel, even if it's a slight movement of the belly towards the hand. And just stay here until you can cultivate this feeling, this awareness of the breath in your belly. And then we can try again from the sitting position. Because as we work on this yogic breath, what we're actually going to do is try to expand. We're going to take a deeper breath and feel an even bigger movement in the belly towards the hand. So this would be kind of the base. If we're building our yogic breath, this is the base of the breath. We want to feel the breath in the lower belly, and we're going to take a full breath in as deep as we can. And exhale. So that's the first thing to be aware of. Now, as I said, as we're breathing in, the breath is going down into the deep belly. And the next thing that's happened, once your belly is extended as far as it can go, we want to guide the breath. We've already brought it out. Now we want to bring it up. So we're going to bring it up into the chest area. And we're actually going to feel our rib cage as though it's being stretched open, because we're filling it with so much great air, so much wonderful breath. So now we have two steps to the yogic breath. I'm closing my eyes as I breathe because I'm trying to feel the sensations. You don't have to, but you can try and see if it's comfortable for you. So we're breathing in, the belly is extending. We're not at our full breath yet, so now we're expanding through the rib cage, out. And then the next step is the chest. This is where we're mostly breathing all of the time, but now we're really extending the breath. So we're bringing it into the belly, out through the rib cage, up into the chest, and then we're almost maybe at the capacity of our in-breath. So let's try that a couple of times. So inhale, extend the belly. Bring the breath up into the torso here, into the ribs, and then up into the chest. And then slowly breathe out until the belly is almost squeezing into the lower back. One more time. So see if you can feel it in all those three parts of the body. And you might find already just through this practice here, your breath is already becoming deeper, and it doesn't feel natural. It should feel natural, but because we don't breathe like this, we're exercising basically. We're accessing and stretching muscles and fascia and tissues that we don't normally exercise while we're breathing. So it may feel a little bit uncomfortable at first. You may feel like you're hyperventilating a little bit, but with time, this becomes an easy and a more natural movement, and you're creating all of this relaxing space in the body. So at this point, even if this is how we're breathing from the belly into the rib cage and up into the chest, that is amazing. And I just want to introduce the last component. If you can bring your breath up even a little bit higher, we want to try to feel it right up into the throat. So we're breathing in the belly, continuing up into the chest, into the rib cage, up into the chest, and see if you can have that little bit extra breath to bring right into the throat. You might see the cords here extending because we're bringing the breath so high up into the body. And now we'll let it out for now. That's the inhale, where we're bringing the air all the way up the body. And now on the exhale, much more simple. We usually have to exert some pressure, some tension, not in a bad way tension, but use our forces to get into this wonderful position. The breathing out, the exhale, the letting go happens on its own, which is wonderful. So from the top of the inhale, we're going to slowly let it all go. And the only thing you need to focus on is once you feel you've already breathed out, there's probably still some more breath that we can expel, so we're going to use a little bit of intention here, and we can call it force, but a gentle force, to push your belly in and let out all of the remaining air that we don't need, that we want to release out of us before we can take in our next healthy inhale. So further push it out until there's really nothing left. And then we're ready to inhale again. You'll find that the deeper you press out at the bottom of the exhale, the more naturally you're going to inhale. You'll just automatically fill up. And it's almost like a balloon, if you want to think about it. If you fill a balloon with helium, it will become gorgeous and full and round. It will float, it will bounce, it will do whatever you want it to do. But if you take a balloon and you just fill it maybe 30% of the way, it's going to be limp. It's not going to rise. It's not going to move around. It's not going to have that bounce and that tautness and that kind of youthful energy. And if we imagine our body a little bit like a balloon, the more we can take this deep breath and let out a full exhale. The more we're expanding our energy into the furthest extremities of our body. And just the amount of energy that you can accumulate from breath alone is staggering. And how you bring that into your day-to-day movements, into your running, into whatever kind of exercise you do. Of course, into yoga, where we know that we're trying to match our movements with our breath and move in this very elegant dance with our body as it fills with energy and as we give it more energy. So the breath is just an unbelievable tool that you have at your disposal at any time. You will breathe on your own without working on it, but the more you can cultivate this deep yogic breath in and out, with your mouth closed, I should mention. Of course, we can breathe with our mouth open, but with our mouth closed and focusing on breathing in through the nostrils and out, the more we're keeping our energy directed into our body where it can do all this yummy work of creating space for us. So I hope this has helped you, and if you want to start with maybe, 5 deep yogic breaths. And then the next time you practice, maybe you can move up to 8 or maybe 10. You could even work up to doing it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you want to go crazy, you can do 15 minutes or half an hour. It's up to you, but there's no way to do damage to yourself by simply sitting in a relaxed position, closing your eyes, and focusing on giving yourself this kind of energy spurt through the breath alone. I really hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to maybe hearing from you about how it works for you. So please enjoy your yogic breath. Namaste.